Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to address whatever topics you might like to discuss and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. We are right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can address every topic that is important to you. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we're here every day, Monday through Friday, from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact, until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. Unscrew the blue cap and find out that this is truly Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and I want to say those of you who have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support broadcast, we thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. Now, I know that our app, for those of you who are new to the app, if you already have the app, it's still operating, but those of you who have gotten new phones or are new to the app, you will find that the app says at New Life-Delaware, it says gone fishing. Well, as you can see, I've not gone fishing. However, we have a compatibility issue that we're trying to resolve, and we're in the process of working on that. So you can continue to use the app until we're able to get that resolved. But we want to thank you for your continued support and for your commitment. And for those of you who cannot use the app, you can go to the contribution or donor pages of our websites at newlifeministriesinternational.com or newlifeinternationalcdc.com. And I know that you've been communicating, saying that you have some difficulties getting onto the app, but you can always go to the website and you can actually make your donation right there scroll down on the menu bar, and you will find the contribution and website pages, and you will be able to make your contribution right there on our website at newlifeministriesinternational.com. And I want to remind everyone, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, we are RadioFreeNetwork.com Live. Go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on the radio, the drop box will appear. You will find both links for the New Life Daily Divine Direction broadcast and for the Sunday sermon. And you will also find an app for our new internet radio station, WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio, where we play music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. So we want you to tune in, and we want you to stay connected with us through our new internet radio station, WKAP. So if you go to rdo.to/WKAP, you will find our internet radio station. You can also go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio, the drop box will appear, click on the WKAP link you will find on RadioFreeNetwork.com Live, and that will allow you to stay connected 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by listening to music that will encourage you empower you and inspire you to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you introduced your girlfriend to a male friend. They dated for a few months, and then the relationship crashed and burned was your terminology. And you said, however, now neither of them want to talk to you. And you want to know, how can you resolve this? Well, first of all, let me say this to you. You have to understand what's really going on here. What's really going on is the embarrassment. They're both embarrassed that they couldn't make the relationship work. But then on top of that, they're both not mature enough to come and say to you, listen, thank you for introducing us, but it didn't work out. And the reason that it didn't work out is because as much as you thought that they might be, let me stop right there. You didn't really even give thought to whether or not they would be compatible. All you wanted to do was help your girlfriend find someone and help your male friend find someone. So you thought the two of them going out, they might hit it off. You didn't really even give this any sincere thought. So let me say this to you and for all of our listeners and viewers. First of all, I don't recommend introducing anyone to one another. And I know that sounds bad, but because people will say, well, how will I meet someone if my trusted friends don't introduce me to people? Well, your trusted friends don't always think about, are two people compatible? In this day and age, all they're really just trying to do is bring two people together so they can hang out. The relationship crashed and burned because these were not two people who were compatible. They simply were two people that you knew who you thought would be companions for one another to hang out. Bad move. When you introduce someone, and this is the next phase of this, I don't recommend introducing anyone or playing Cupid, for lack of a better term. However, if you're going to introduce two people, take your time and really determine, are the two people even compatible? What is it about them that you feel they might enjoy one another, that they may be compatible in the sense of where they are in their faith? You may look at where they're compatible with relationship to their career goals. You may look at how compatible are they about their long-term life plan. All of those should be a factor if you're going to introduce someone to one another. If you're going to introduce people, you need to really know that they are compatible. And, I've gone through this whole systematic process of what dating really should look like. You didn't follow those instructions either. So there's a lot going on here to unpack. And the reality is that we're still, not everyone, because I've heard from some people who are trying to do it the way that I've given them, that God revealed to me, and you're trying to do it that way, and that's going to work out for you long term. The reality is that in today's society, people just want to hang out. So you thought, because your friend likes to hang out, your female friend, your girlfriend, likes to hang out, you thought because your male friend can afford to have a social life, that might be good enough for the two of them to enjoy one another. Well, the problem is that they're not compatible. And let me tell you why I say that. First of all, as I mentioned, you didn't go through the dating process that I recommended. God revealed that to me some time ago. I've told everyone, church 3 times and out to lunch before you ever go anywhere else. The 4th date should be wherever you want to go, but you shouldn't stop doing what you've always done the first 3 times. But you've got to get through those 3 dates. Those 3 dates are going to tell you everything that you need to know. Church and out to lunch. So you didn't do that the right way. So that's one of the result of this is now you have 2 friends that are not talking to you. And they're too embarrassed to come and tell you that it didn't work out, even though it didn't work out. And let me tell you why I say they're not mature enough. Because maturity would have been, okay, we're not long-term compatible. We had a little fun for a few months, but we're not long-term compatible. And it would have been the 2 of them sitting down with you, talking to you about it over lunch or over dinner or whatever you all do. If they were mature enough, they would have come to you and told you, we don't have the same goals. Your girlfriend she's the hangout girl. She likes to hang out. Your male friend doesn't want to hang out as much. He's looking for a relationship, but he can afford to do some things. He just wants to do it in a relationship. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want the good time girl. Your girlfriend is the good time girl. The problem with that is that doesn't lead to a stable relationship. So they had a good time for a few months. He got tired because he didn't really want to do that all the time. And she wanted to go. And then because, that whole cycle is, okay, during those few months they became intimately involved. And now, it was a problem for her that he stopped wanting to go. It's a problem for him that all she wants to do is go. You said the relationship crashed and burned. It's over. But they should have been mature enough to come to you and say, you know what, we just weren't compatible. But they're not there because they're embarrassed. And they're embarrassed because you brought them both together. They're both your friends. The good news is, and I will share this with you, they will eventually begin talking to you again. This is all new for them. That they're trying to deal with the fallout of the relationship. And the reason that we find ourselves in a place trying to deal with the fallout of relationships is because we get in a relationship before we even know if the person is someone we want to spend time developing a relationship with. And I have repeatedly said, and this is what God revealed to me, I repeatedly said, 3 dates, church and lunch, you will know everything you need to know about, listen to this, not about whether or not the relationship can be successful, because you got to put in work for that. You got to go through every season. So I need to make sure everybody understands that. You got to go through, summer has come. Spring had sprung, and summer has now come in our area. It's even though it's not officially the first day of summer, it feels like it's summer already here. So that's a good thing, for me anyway. But having said that, you got to go through summer, winter, spring, right? Well, pardon me. You got to go through summer, fall, winter, and spring, and come back to summer again before you can make a decision. Is this someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with? That's you've got to put that work in. Not that we make relationships a job, but you're working to see if this is someone you can build a long-term relationship with. Now, having said that, those first 3 dates are crucial. Those first 3 outings together are crucial. Going to church together, and I've told everyone this, you get to know exactly what they're being taught and what they're being fed. Spiritually, you get to find out where they are spiritually. And then when you go out to lunch after the Sunday service, you get to talk about where you are spiritually. You get to talk about what's your 7-year plan for your life. You get to talk about the things that you want to accomplish both personally and professionally. That's lunch. It's just lunch. There's no Pressure, there's no pressure on, watch this, there's no pressure on the woman or the man. See, sometimes women don't know that there's pressure on a man when he takes them out. But there is pressure. You know, women sometimes feel like it's pressure on the woman if a guy takes you out to dinner, because then he expects something for dessert. But we're talking about lunch. There's no pressure there. There's no pressure. It's communication. Yeah, there does appear to be a little pressure on a man when it's dinner. It's wine and dine you. It's generally financial pressure, but it's the pressure of making certain that as men that we demonstrate ourselves with character and integrity. That's pressure for a man. Women have a different perspective. You sometimes feel the pressure of what's his expectation after dinner. And then some women don't even feel that pressure because they're not in it for anything else but a free meal or a date. You eliminate the pressure with church and lunch. It's just lunch. After church, it's finding out what you want to accomplish both personally and professionally. It's finding out what's your 7-year plan. You know, second time going to church and out to lunch. You know what they're being fed because now you're hearing more of what is being taught on Sunday. When you go out to lunch, you can talk about things, you know, what's the future hold for you? Do you desire to get married and have children? If someone tells you they don't desire to get married, what they're telling you is at very least they don't plan on marrying you. And if they tell you, oh, I'm just not going to get married, that means that they're still looking for somebody. Or they're not looking for anyone at all. So those are some people will call them red flags. But that's a reality. You know, you should talk about that. Ask that question. You know, do you someday see, I know people will tell you all types of things about dating because people think it's a game. Well, you know, the hunter and the hunted. Well, there's something, what God revealed to me is that it's more important than that. It's more significant than that. It's not a game. This is a matter of life. And we have to take it more seriously. It can't just be about fun, entertainment, dating for sport, dating for social activities, or dating for a free meal. That's not what this is about. For us men, he who finds a wife, and I'm going to repeat this over and over again, I'm sure, finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. There's three benefits that come out of that, out of searching for the right person. First of all, you find a wife, and here's the reality: men who are married tend to live longer than men who are single. That's the first thing, scientific fact. Second thing is, you find a good thing, which means that now you have something good in your life, something that's dependable, something that's committed. He who finds a wife lives longer and finds a good thing. Now you have the opportunity to build not just a good life, but a great quality of life. And now you obtain favor of the Lord because you've done exactly in order what God has assigned. But for you, you have to remember that for a woman, things are different. You know, you're being sought by the searcher. So in your girlfriend's case, she just wanted to have a good time because that's what she does. She's a good time girl, and you know that. So introducing her to Mr. I can afford to do things, but I'm also stable. That's not a good match. You don't see a mate there. That's just you want your girlfriend to have a good time, somebody to go out with. You thought your male friend was someone who might be compatible for her. You didn't even think that. Let me rephrase that. You thought, well, if your male friend can go out with your girlfriend, he'll have something to do. She'll have something to do because he can afford it. But he doesn't want to do it all the time. He doesn't want to go out all the time. He wants to build a life. They're just not compatible. The good news is they will be speaking to you again, but they'll do it on an individual basis because they have to go through their maturation process of that relationship. And all will be well. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you're not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you and your husband are both eligible to retire, early retirement. You want to go out, however, he does not want to retire, and it is causing some conflict in your marriage. Okay, so here's the problem. Do not create conflict. If you have discussed this with your husband and about retiring early, and you want to retire early, that's fine for you. Do not expect him to retire early. He doesn't have any desire to retire early. You know, that's been a misconception for so long. Work until you're eligible to get out and then get out. No, it's different if you age out, if they require you to leave at a certain age. But if they don't require you to leave, where are you going? What is the reason for your desire to retire? He's not interested in retiring. You say you want to retire and travel. Well, you need to have that discussion with him, because if you're going to retire and travel and he's not going to travel with you, he needs to be aware of that. He needs to be aware that you're going to be traveling and he's going to continue working. He'll take some time here and there because he's been working in his position for a very long time. He has the ability to do that. He'll take some time off, a couple of days here or there, and he may travel with you. But he's not interested in traveling for long periods of time. He's not interested in slowing down, and he doesn't want to retire yet. Don't create a conflict. If you want to retire and you've had that conversation with your husband, go out. That's on you. Don't expect him to do that. The problem is, here's where your conflict came in. The conflict in your marriage is that you want him to do what you want him to do, and he doesn't want to do it. So now it's a conflict. It doesn't have to be. He can still do what he wants to do, and you can do what you want to do with regards to your employment, as long as it doesn't disrupt your quality of life, and as long as it doesn't disrupt your financial stability. If that's where you are, then you get to decide that. But otherwise, you can't expect him to stop working because you want him to stop working. If you're gonna, let me just say this, have the conversation with your husband. If you're gonna retire, if you're gonna go out early, and he's with you 100% that you want that, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Then go for it. The question you have to ask yourself is, what's your motivation? If he's not going to be traveling with you, you're only going to travel some of the time. He's going to be okay with that, but you're not going to be traveling as much as you think you are. And so then you have to say to yourself, well, is it really worth it for me to come out when I'm not required to come out? You're just eligible to come out. See, we've got to try to make good decisions. We've got to really try in every aspect of our lives to make good decisions. The problem is we've been telling ourselves the wrong thing for so long. We've been telling ourselves that we should retire as soon as we can get out. When in reality, we should be working as long as the Lord allows us to work. As long as we have the ability to work, as long as we have the mental capacity to function at a high level in a position, we should continue working. As long as we have a career that we can continue to be an asset to the company, we should continue. If you're out, digging a ditch 12 hours a day, and you're not, but if you're working in construction 12 hours a day, and you're now 65, because you don't want to go out at 62 because you're going to reduce your Social Security significantly. But at 65, at least you've gotten a good portion of it. I recommend that everyone maxes out their Social Security. Don't retire until you get to the point where you max out, because then you don't lose any of your Social Security. You're going to take 30, 40 percentage cuts by leaving early. But we've been telling ourselves the wrong thing for so long that we think it's the right thing to do. And if nobody is requiring you to leave, what are you leaving for? You get days off, you get vacation. What are you leaving for? Unless you're not in good health, what's the purpose of retiring for? For what? Don't create a conflict over the fact that your husband is not willing to retire. He's just not going to do that because he wants to continue enjoying a great quality of life. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. Shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. I'm in Charles Tyrwhitt attire today. This is what it looks like. And if you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have stores. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, stop in at the retail store. They have everything you could possibly need. Home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been dating a man for 4 years and he still says that he's not ready to get married. You want to know, how do you get him to the altar? My question is, why would you want to get him to the altar when he's telling you he doesn't want to get married? He's been telling you that for the last 3 years of the 4 years you've been in a relationship. You ask him why the two of you are not getting married after the first year. It's a little late. You should have had that discussion prior, but I'm glad you had it at 1 year. But now you've waited 3 more years. And every year during the holidays that society has taught us is the appropriate time to get engaged, you've asked why the two of you haven't gotten engaged. He tells you that he's not ready to get married. And if he's not ready to get married, he's telling you exactly that. He is not ready to get married. So why are you still in the relationship? The reason is because you've gotten comfortable. The reason is because you don't want to be alone. The reason is because you don't want to start all over with the new relationship. But this one's going nowhere. It's just a relationship. And you want to be married. And you know it's the right thing to do because that's where the fullness of God lies. But it's not in your relationship with him. And he's not, listen, if it were someone else and you were having different discussions, I'd be giving you a different perspective. But not in his case. He's been very clear that he doesn't want to get married. He's not ready. Let me rephrase it. And the reason he's not ready is because he doesn't want to. You've got to accept that. Some people will stay in a relationship and they'll say, you know, I want to get married. These are the things we need to do to get there. And you take those steps. And sometimes it takes a little longer than it does for others. But after the first year, you should know. And you should start setting a timetable to accomplish that goal. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding, that will lead you to